You're now listening to the Something Good Podcast Network. Please press any key to continue.
All right, everybody, and welcome to this week's edition of the Couch Brotatoes. I'm Alex.
This is Cap Morrison.
Holy shit, Cap's back.
Hey, guys.
After 2 episodes without
he finally cooled off after that whole Palestine conversation we had.
Hey now.
Hey, man, you're the one that said that shit about the car.
It's like Space Rush Limbaugh all over again.
Yep.
Hope you enjoyed last week's episode where we did our sit-down commentary for Rise of Skywalker. So yeah, Cap, you got to miss that one. Oh no.
Oh no. I sat out on the bad Star Wars combo.
Yeah. And would you say now that we've had a week after that if time's been nicer to that movie?
No.
Okay.
I haven't watched it since it came out in the movie theaters. I don't think I've even watched it since
it's a bad movie.
It was a terrible movie when I went and saw it. So
I wanted it to be better than it was.
No.
If you were to strip it down to like some base parts, it'd be a great movie. But there's a lot too much going on that kind of fucks with it a little bit and ruins the story. It could have been 2 movies. You know what I'm saying?
I feel like
I know they stick with the trilogy, but that's kiss my ass.
Well, I think that's even a good analogy for what we're going to be talking about today, which is the Book of Boba Fett, aka Mandalorian Season 2.5.
Yep,
pretty much. Not a whole lot of Boba Fett in this Boba Fett series later on.
The lamest of the Star Wars characters.
Well, it just really feels like exactly what you just said there. There were 2 movies worth of content in this show, but they just kind of squished it into one series.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And the story's okay. I mean, I like the story, but like you were saying, they just kind of crammed a whole lot of narrative over 7 episodes where they could have paced it out a little, paced out a little better, a little bit not as Tarantino-ish as they did.
Yeah, but even then, the flashbacks kind of killed it for me.
See, I think
if it was a linear story, I think it kind of would have worked out. That's just a little better when you do a storytelling like that, it gives a little bit more dynamism.
Yeah,
but this one,
I think they could have started with the flashbacks first.
Yeah,
and it would have been just fine.
Yeah,
Well, did they not?
Yeah, they did. But I would like to just start. All right, so it starts with the Starlight Pit, okay, and we get the whole Patton Oswalt narration.
Yeah, like almost to a T.
And they added more detail. Hey, how did he survive? Oh, he cannibalized a corpse in there. He did a good job. And if they had stuck with that linear story of he's with the Raiders, he continues with the Raiders up to a point, and then shoot back to now.
Right. And not just a back and forth, back to tank memory for like 3 episodes.
That's what I had a problem with. He was always in the Bantha tank. And I'm just like, ugh. I know you got like your stomach punched in, but like you don't need a bank tank for that. That's where people get shot.
Oh no, I got a paper cut. I got to go to the back tank.
I did feel like that was getting used a lot because, especially in the original trilogy, back to tank was very much used for like, this bitch is about to die.
Yeah. Hey, Luke fell like 40 stories, landed his dick on a fucking pole and got his hand chopped off. Yeah, that's what that tank's for.
Yeah.
Not getting your bitch smacked by a Wookiee.
It's kind of like in the later Dragon Ball Z episodes where there's like, here's your all-in-one fucking sensu bean.
Yeah.
That'll heal all your problems.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, because they had one like that in that show too. They had a Bantha tank kind of thing in that, and they just said, oh, fuck it, we're just so powerful, we don't need it anymore.
Well, here's the thing, that Luke didn't even get the fucking back to tank after he got his hand chopped off. The only time he got the tank was after they found him in Hoth.
Yeah.
When Han finally grabbed his ass, they brought him back, put him in the back to tank, and then kind of brought him back to life. Motherfucker didn't even get that for his arm getting chopped off. You know what he got for that? Leia with a fucking warm towel tapping his forehead as the Millennium Falcon's flying away. That's what that motherfucker got. So he didn't even get the back.
I just to go back real quick. I saw a meme yesterday, and it was like, the scene where like Leia's like comforting Luke in New Hope. You guys probably seen it, but he's like, oh my god, he just saw Kenobi get cut down, all this stuff, and she's like, oh no, was that your mentor? Blah, blah, blah. No, I knew him for like 2 days, on like a long weekend, and I just can't really, I'm just trying to process. Oh really? We're flying in basically a meteor shower made of my fucking planet.
Yeah. You think you got fucking problems?
She's like, everyone I loved, everyone that I knew is dead.
My family, my friends that I've known for decades.
Yeah.
Dead.
Dead.
And
but that old guy you knew for 2 weeks, not even 2 weeks, probably like a long weekend, died.
Yeah.
Dead.
And you're dedicating your life to, okay. Well, you
Who
do you, man.
Tantamount, it's like, hey, your dad's drinking buddy. Like,
Well, let's go ahead and break it down episode by episode, which again, we only get 7. Do you think this would have benefited from a longer season?
I had enough.
I think with the format, say if they started with like him coming out of the Sarlacc, maybe 2 or 3 episodes of that, and then the continuous narrative. Well, I don't know.
I mean, that's basically how they started. Boba barely escapes the Sarlacc pit that swallowed him and is left for dead by Jawas, who steal his Mandalorian armor. Then he is captured by the Tusken Raiders and fails to escape their camp. 5 years later, Fett and Fennec Shan. That's when they do the time jump. 5 years later, Fett and Fennec Shan are taking control of Jabba's criminal empire on Tatooine, and they receive tribute from all the local dignitaries to gain service and also gain the service of 2 Gamorrean guards that Fett and Shan, that the 2 of them served during Jabba's time, and I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, you're they're mainstays. It's like when you see that, that's one of the few things George Lucas didn't rip from other fucking sci-fi. Was okay, this is originally done character, original makeup, original design. It's not like some of the older stuff we've seen, like especially like guns. I don't know if you guys don't really know much about guns, but some of those guns are just like old World War II leftover stuff.
Yeah,
right.
But even some of the costumes and stuff are taken from like Flash Gordon, Star Trek, the original series. Like a lot of old
Dune.
stuff. Yeah, Dune. Well, that's more story based, but like a lot of the just like props and stuff he had to recycle, and you understand that, but. Even in like late 90s and early 2000s, he was like, hey, this shaver looks cool. Let's make this into a fucking thing.
Yeah, and that's what the comlink was. It was a fucking Gillette razor.
Just fucking come up with an original idea.
Yeah.
Stop just taking shit off the shelf like a Warhammer kid.
We find out about the term daimyo, or how do you say it? Daimyo or whatever.
Daimyo.
Yeah.
Stupid.
Yeah.
And then Fett and Shan visit the Sanctuary, which is basically the new version of the...
Yeah. So
it's basically a
Twilight Courthouse.
it's a horror house mixed with the original cantina that we saw from A New Hope.
It's Space Vegas.
And, and it's run by Garza Fwip. FWIP.
Yeah, just some fucking tailhead. I love that. That's I love that.
The slur.
I'm just like, it's so fucking stupid.
I know.
And then you just go back and like, oh wait, all slurs are fucking stupid. It's like, this is great. This is fucking great.
Nerf herder.
That and Dank Ferrick is a new one. That to me, I'm sure that's the goddamn it is a Dank Ferrick.
Are you going to start using that now?
Yep. Every day.
No, I'm not Ned
7-Eleven.
Flanders.
Hi diddly ho, neighbors. While you just like pounding, like there's fucking lifting like 300 pounds deadlifting and shit.
Yeah.
Listen to fucking like Christian metal.
Dank Ferrick.
Hi diddly ho.
Then outside the cantina, the group is ambushed by assassins, whom they then fight off. I thought that was a pretty cool one. Shan captures one of the assailants after pursuing them across the rooftops. The guards take an injured Fett back to this place, back to the tank for healing. Fett remembers, in which we get another flashback in which Fett remembers his time with the Tuskens. He and a Rodan prisoner, which was a similar species to...
Basically a Greedo.
Yeah,
if you
Greedo.
will.
Greedo. A red Greedo.
Yeah.
And I thought that exchange was pretty funny, how like this character acted dumb for the longest time and then all of a sudden was like, dude, would you just shut the fuck up? Like all of a sudden, like he just starts talking to him, like in English, I think even.
Yeah.
He's just like, dude, I swear to fucking God.
And then he just bails on his ass too. The
Yep.
Greedo guy does.
Yep. After being attacked by a large sand creature, killing him. And then Fett kills that creature, saving a Tusken child, in which the tribe's chief then offers him a black melon, which is kind of like
Their water source, yeah.
Yes, their water source, and since water is so
Sacred.
and rare on Tatooine, that's
I've
more
heard
of
this
like
before.
a...
Where was that? Sci-fi. Just general sci-fi in general.
Yeah. So
Tropes everywhere.
yeah, so he then willingly offers him the water.
Yeah, and that creature was like a fucking Goro monster or whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
Looks kind of like, found like some images of it. Looks kind of like, well, if it'll fucking load.
It's
You
like a
have to
dragon.
tap the
this
there
beast
it
right
is.
here.
Yeah. Honestly, I thought that was a pretty cool design because some of the CGI-ish monsters they can pick. I mean, hell, even from the sequel trilogy, what was the thing Han was transporting in the first The Force Awakens?
Oh, that fucking
Like
squid
the
thing.
slime monster, whatever
Yeah.
the fuck.
Squid thing.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
that thing looked ridiculous. Like out of so many of the creatures and monsters they made in that movie, that was the one that just looked so bad.
I completely forgot about that creature too. It's like
'Cause
how
it's a
utterly
forgettable
forgettable.
series.
Yeah, exactly.
And then I think they revisit. Oh, and even in Rogue One, they had that weird scene.
Moya Gullet.
Yeah,
Yeah.
even that thing
The
looked.
truth-telling alien. And it's just like, oh, it's going to rape your brain.
Yeah.
But you're going to tell us everything you know. It's just going to rape your brain.
It's
You're
like
gonna
out
be
of-
useless after this.
It's like out of such a solid movie, that one creature just kind of takes me out of it a little bit.
They did something to him. Like
I think he did something to him. He'd said a lot of those were his choices.
Yeah, and it's just like it ruins that kind of thing because you see not only him in like the Rebels series and stuff, but you also see his kid later on, who's still alive technically. But he just gives off this weird vibe throughout the whole thing.
Saw Gerrera, by the way.
Saw Gerrera. But yeah, Saw Gerrera, they just give him this weird, like he does that whole like breathing in while he's speaking. And and just like he might be a little CIA-ish. let's pour water.
I always saw as like a PTSD, hardened war guy.
Yeah, because he was doing the nasty shit the rebels didn't want to do.
Yeah, I haven't brought
Could have
myself.
used him in this fucking series.
So I haven't brought myself to watch the Rebel series or the cartoon series or anything like that. But
They're
everybody
okay.
I know that keeps up with Star Wars, more hardcore than I do, fucking loves those series.
I
It's just hard for me to get into the art style.
I skim through it. Like I just go to the plot points. Just done. Okay, that looks like something interesting is going to happen here. Click, go.
Yeah, because we're starting to see characters from those series
Yes.
being used in these Disney series.
Yeah.
Yes, which shout out to YouTubers like Mr. Sunday Movies, New Rock Stars, Everything Awesome for their recap videos in which they explain to me why these characters are important from Clone Wars and Rebels and stuff like that. So shout out to those YouTubers for keeping this nerd in the loop for, like I said, for some reason I could never get behind the art style. And it bugged me enough to not watch it.
See, my guy's just my brother, William, who just tells me about, he just goes, oh my God, did you see the this, that, and the other in this series? But we'll get to these characters as we go along.
But yeah, episode 2, Tribes of Tatooine. Fett and Shand interrogate a captured assassin who claims to have been hired by Mok Shai.
The mayor of Mos Espa.
Yes, thank you. It's fucking Star Wars names. I can barely... Yeah, anyway.
It's that big fucking
Big
cantina. Yeah, the big fucking cantina monster that we see at episode 4 of New Hope. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
one of those things that has like the squid shaped kind of, not the squid shape.
It's like
There's
a
already
tongue. It looks
squid.
like a fucking a tongue going backwards with two eyes on
does.
top.
And I
Had that
thought it was
action
cool
figure.
how he kind of had... You heard his actual speaking voice,
Oh, yeah.
but then you heard the translator on top. I thought that was a pretty interesting artistic choice.
I remember one was a Jedi. There was a creature like that was a Jedi.
Yeah, I remember that too. And that was an action figure at one point,
And he gets cut down.
like they all do.
Yep, and Shaz denies that the captured assailant was hired by him, but offers payment to Fett by capturing the assassin, and suggests that maybe they visit the sanctuary again. Whip informs Fett that two of Jabba's cousins, the pair of Hutts known as the Twins, want to claim Jabba's throne for themselves. The twins arrive for the Wookiee bounty hunter Chrysanthemum. Basically, I saw the perfect meme to summarize this. It was the Friends meme section where it had like, I think it was Ross or someone just trying to get Joey to pronounce something properly.
Yeah.
So it was just like, they're like, san, tin, chrysanthemum, Black Chewbacca. So it's the Baby Yoda thing. It's Black Chewbacca, and I thought that was a pretty cool callback. He was in one of the recent comic book series.
That was one of those where I asked my brother, all right, why is this guy's cool? What's his story? Because I don't know.
And basically, and the reason I thought it was cool because it was like the first time we got to see a Wookiee be a Wookiee.
Yeah.
You know?
Because you don't see that a lot in the prequels. And it kind of gets wasted.
Apparently they can take lasers like a motherfucker too.
Yeah, they can take a beat.
They can take a beat.
Yeah.
And they arrive with him trying to intimidate Fett, but he refuses to submit. And then back in the back to tank. So we get our flashback.
Waste.
We get the flashback again. Fett remembers the Tuskens teaching him their style of combat and desert survival skills. And after the tribe was attacked by the Pike Syndicate spice train, Fett stole speeder bikes from a nearby Nitko gang and taught the Tuskens how to ride them, which then in itself turned into a meme because he's like, "You ride it like a bantha."
And this, we get going back to the beginning of the episode. It seemed like the Jabba the Hutt twins were a waste.
Yeah, we only got them like for 2 episodes, and they felt like they were building up their characters.
Like they were
pretty
like,
good.
They kind of like just dip out later on and just saying, "Hey, no, we're good," because the whole Pike thing was happening. I'm just like, really,
It's like, we're getting the fuck out of here.
I'm like, really, your whole family's a goddamn like the Godfather, and you guys don't want to be like, "Oh yeah, we can kill those things for you."
Yeah.
Yeah, fine. You know what I'm saying? Like, it seems like just a waste.
Well, they were
agree
also
with that.
saying they just didn't want to include, like, the Hutts were trying to say they never did, like, extreme violence, which I guess we never saw Hutt do.
He ate people.
We never saw Jabba the Hutt eat someone.
He eats living creatures.
Yes, those frogs that everyone's after.
That's a sentient being. And it was alive. It was fucking alive. He's
Alex.
no better than that demon Grogu.
Alice, they're fucking monsters.
You're pretty sure he didn't eat one of them strippers.
And I thought all the and again we were kind of y'all were shitting on the flashbacks. I actually enjoyed the flashbacks, and I thought it was a pretty good way of storytelling because I feel like if we stuck too much time with the Tuskens like we did for like an episode or 2, it wouldn't have been as impactful because it's more or less we saw. Because in the Discord, Tyler, everyone was mainly complaining that Boba Fett was going soft in the series, which we actually get a call on later on in the episodes.
The fact is, Boba Fett's always been a little bitch like that, but...
Well, right, but it's like everyone's kind of using the Legends comics and the book series and the games and all that as reference point, in which he's a lot more of a badass. But a lot of people were just saying that he went soft. Well, I feel like the way they were using, kind of like we were also saying, the Tarantino style, flashbacky, non-linear storyline style showing, was the moments in which we felt maybe he had been going soft, but no, it's in direct correlation to this action that he was with the Tuskens. And plus, I submit the fact that if he was able to escape the Sarlacc pit and then fight his way back into health, that's going to change a motherfucker.
Yeah.
No,
I feel you on that. But also, maybe if someone said the word Jedi, maybe a little PTSD shoots up in the back of the brain there.
Well, no one mentioned a Jedi.
Yeah, until that little one showed up, didn't it? Like
he never saw him.
Yeah, probably a good thing. He would have probably like shit his pants and been like, "Oh my god!" and just like had like just a mental breakdown just on his knees, trying to bash his head against the helmet. They're coming for me. Because every time he meets a Jedi, it's bad.
Yeah,
it's very bad.
I was like how we just kind of glossed over fucking Tusken Raiders on speeder bikes. That was pretty fucking cool.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and
then
I
they're
thought I thought that whole scene was really cool, which where they were fighting off the train, which is what immediately happens after.
That was a knockdown drag out.
Yeah, that was really fucking cool.
With these series, that's what I always say. I do like the knockdown drag outs.
I do
of
too.
The action events, especially it's like, hey, we got to take this train. Hey, we got to drive this supply train to the Empire. It's all awesome when you see like just that 1, 2, 3 step.
Mm-hmm. And they kind of make the whole sequence out of it too, and how like elaborate it is.
Yeah, they do almost like an Unchained shot. When they do up like when they're coming up to the train, and it's just it's Unchained, so they just keep it going up until the point they make contact with the train, which I thought was a really good way to do that. It kind of makes you like a Western.
Well, they pull a lot of Western tropes in this
Got
series,
to. It was on
especially in
Desert
the
Planet.
last 2 episodes.
Yeah, it's Tombstone.
Oh yeah.
Most times it's Tombstone.
Or,
And then probably the weirdest moment to me the entire series, which was after they defeated the train, all that, Boba officially gets accepted into the Tusken tribe, and then that fucking lizard goes up his nose. He has a goddamn trip, and then they do the big old fire dance afterward.
yeah, reminds me
You
of
gotta go full Dances with Wolves, man.
it reminded me of Lord of War, where he goes into the bar and they give him gunpowder.
Brown.
Yeah, brown.
And he's like, "What the fuck is this? This is your bullets."
Yep.
And cocaine.
He's just tripping in the desert, just talking to hyenas and shit.
Yeah, he's like in fucking like some slum, just hanging out. He ends up with a whore. He's like, "You don't have AIDS, do you?"
Yeah.
It's just like, oh God, I'm in a bad spot.
But was like, I'm trapped in the Sarlacc pit again, man. This is not cool. The lizard shrooms are turning.
That would have
on
been
me.
cool if it would have turned into like another like trip like Luke does in the original trilogy, and he's just like in the fucking desert, and all of a sudden some dude with a green saber just shows up and starts taking swings at him. Yeah, and he's just like, oh God, and then a dude like a dark figure shows up with a purple saber, decapitating people. just walking up to him like real slow and shit. Like making eye contact, and that's his fever dream of just decapitated dads.
Decapitated dads.
So Luke, how was your trip?
Hey Boba, are you all right? Nah, man. A lot of repressed shit. I hate these fucking people.
So, would you like another one? No.
No,
I'm good.
you got too real.
And also, side note, it was kind of fucked. When he stops the train and harasses the Pikes and all that shit, when it's like, you're carrying a whole lot of water. One, they're kind of like fish people. They probably desperately need that water to survive. And two, what do the Tuskens do? They
pop
fucking
it.
poke the side of it and start dancing in it like
No,
they fucking like it's a goddamn waterfall.
That's the same thing that you see in like Mad Max and Thunderdome and all that. It's just like, hey, water. That's what we're after. It's a giant tanker with water. And when you see in the Fury Road, what does he do? He opens the floodgates and lets it flood, and he's like, shoo, and shuts it down. He's like, I'm not spoiling these people. And it's just like, you fucking asshole. You could put it just to build a pipeline. You fucking prick.
And of course, the Pikes are smuggling spice, which we never.
It's heroin. It's heroin and
drugs.
cocaine mixed
yeah.
together. It's heroin and cocaine mixed together.
Yeah, this is what it has to
Space-
be.
just-
Another Dune pull.
Another Dune pool. Except Dune uses it to do space travel. That's what it's used for.
I guess you couldn't this one too, man.
We're going across the galaxy. Why? Because I'm going to turn you out.
Yeah.
Chapter 3, Streets of Mos Espa. Fett is asked by a watermonger to punish a gang of cyborgs who have been stealing his water on Mos Espa.
The Dotrief.
Yes, claiming that the citizens of Tatooine
Dotrief.
do not respect Fett yet, which is kind of true.
Yeah, he's getting up there. All he did was like kill a fat guy. He's in charge, really, if you think about it. But he shows up and he does tell them the truth. He's like, hey, fuck you. We're not giving you tribute because you're not helping us. Because that's the whole point of extortion. Is it's the promise of violence unless you pay, but it's also protection.
Because everyone so far has given him tribute except for the mayor.
Yeah, because the mayor is a scam artist.
Yes.
But I just love that Stephen Root didn't have to dress up at all. He just showed up like the Dotrief.
The bulldozer.
I can't remember his name. Do you remember his name?
On the series.
It says, Lortha Peel.
Yeah. That's just some
Okay.
stupid. He could have just been like the Dotrief.
Yeah.
It would have fit the stupid fucking lore. But
And then upon seeing the gang has no work, Fett decides to employ the cyborgs as enforcers and demand that Peel reduces prices.
what do you think? What did you think of Huey Lewis and the Jedi?
Yeah. Or they look like the kids you see at the mall like today.
Yeah, just a little punk ass kids.
One of them looks like a SoundCloud rapper with like his orange dreads and everything.
One girl's got that like Pat Benatar vibe.
Hey, look, you leave her alone.
I'm just saying she
can be in that series all she wants.
that bitch is carrying a little 380 pop gun.
I don't.
A little I call it a pig
I'll
sticker.
tell her another little pop. Never mind.
She's carrying that little 38 special.
Right?
Well, here's the other thing too: is a lot of people were shitting on like kind of what you guys are doing, also their design and all that, and especially kind of like their neon like motorbike type things.
That's
they
the
were
only
using.
problem I had with them. Their whole design as characters looked amazing. You're actually creating another race. Basically,
Right,
that you
kinda
can
like-
treat like shit of people who are
because
part robot.
because they're the underworld. It seems
Yeah.
like it's even the underbelly of what Tatooine
Yeah.
would be.
And like, I imagine there is a kind of a downward look at those people. It's like, oh no, you were supposed to lose a hand, now you got a robot hand or an eye. And a lot of their stuff is cosmetic. They don't need it. It's just like, okay,
It's
I
kind
wanna-
of treated like piercings and tattoos.
Yeah, and that gives it that cool vibe of like a subculture.
Yeah.
But they're all young too.
And they're all kind of looked at as lesser than.
Yeah, because they're little punk kids. The only thing I do have are the bikes. It's just like I would have liked a junked out speeder that they just redid, kind of like they did with the Marshall's bike that you see in Mandalorian. Just these put together fucking bikes. It's like, hey, how do these kids have these? Why? How did they get these? And like, it is a Mos Eisley, Mos Espa. It is a junk town. Everything's made of shit.
Right.
Like even later on, Mando gets a Naboo starfighter. It does look like it's tacked together.
Yeah.
But that's the only problem I had with it, because it doesn't fit the aesthetic of the show.
And I totally get that from a certain point of view, to quote Obi-Wan. Another side
You chopped him down, didn't you piece of shit?
Another side of it is, one, since it is kind of the weird subculture, punk rock, new wave kind of section of this planet, they would, and exactly what you said, a lot of it is cosmetic. Like they decided to get these things. They're clearly looking at aesthetic and the way things look.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't they have a slick, clean looking bike if they already have slick, clean looking mechanical other parts? Because whether they said when he was fixing Fennec Shan, he said, "Are you going to cover it?" And he was like, "What? And cover that beautiful machinery?" Yeah. So it's like, I really feel like that was a situation of the overall vibe of the characters called for slicker looking vehicles. Plus, they even came out and said it was supposed to be a tribute to American Graffiti.
Yeah,
and like
I
the
can
really
see that.
slick muscle cars of the 60s.
And the teenage
Now that was Bryce
rebels and
Dallas
stuff.
Howard's episode, right?
I believe. Maybe.
That was episode 5 was Bryce Dallas Howard's.
Oh, okay.
Because that's another thing I kind of have a problem with. Now, so far it's been okay, but when you do the multiple directors and you're trying to tell a story,
Yeah.
you're going to end up doing eventually one of these seasons is going to end up like the Han Solo movie, where it's going to be either too dark and you can't see no fucking body, or the cast is just going to be fucking terrible, or the way they speak to each other doesn't match how it did in the beginning of the fucking movies.
Yeah.
Like you.
There's a very fine line you have to walk in those dialogue
Yeah, because you still
scenes.
want to keep the flow of the story and aesthetic, but directors can do that. Robert Rodriguez is really good.
I was
Just
going
like
to say, he was the
Fellini and all them.
main guy behind this series.
But like even Bryce Dallas Howard can keep that line, and I would like to see her direct the next movie.
I can
just
see
to
that.
just to see how well, because she's got Ron Howard's her dad.
And it's a different, but she tells a story with a different tone than say
Yeah.
Robert Rodriguez does.
Yeah, but you're still, at the end of the day, you're still telling a timeline. Now, Robert Rodriguez, I would like the train scene that was his episode, I believe.
Yeah.
The last episode, a lot of action packed. That's what he sticks to. So I would want him for doing that. But you still got to keep the aesthetic to a point. And the bikes just threw me off a little bit,
Right.
But I know
No, I get what you're saying.
I know why they did it. I understand why they did it, but I'm just like, pick and choose your battles. Like,
Yeah, exactly.
if you want to do American Graffiti, tie a chain to one of these fucking cars and have one drive off and just blow the fucking back out, because that happened in that movie too.
with Harrison Ford. Although he's too cool for Star Wars these days. And you know what? He probably is.
No, he's not.
And then we, of course, get a quick back to tank flashback, there was someone in one of those videos that started calling it something else. It was like a flashback to
Back to Flash.
yeah. So we get another flashback to, and it was just Fett recalling seeing the toll from the Pikes on behalf of the Tusken tribe, only to find the tribe destroyed by Nitko gang on his return. So we get just that quick little thing of all the Tuskens are fucking dead.
The that Uncle Owen Aunt Beru
Yeah.
scene.
On like times
much.
1,000. He's like, instead of 2 bodies, I have like 20 to burn.
So this is going to take all night. But then, like, later on...
Well, it's immediately interrupted by, which I thought was cool, Chrysanthemum ripping that motherfucker out of the back to tank and just beating him up.
Oh, yeah.
And I thought that was a real good scene. And basically, it kept going until...
the gang showed up.
yeah,
the
gang-
punks. The
Yep,
punks.
the old punks show up and was able to... which Chrysanthemum winds up calling them friends later on, which is
Yeah.
kind of interesting that their first interaction is like, fuck you, Wookie.
Yeah. They kind of give you like a Warriors vibe almost. When
Yeah,
they
that's
what I
show,
was
when they
thinking.
show up, and I'm just like, oh fuck, the Turnbull ACs are here.
And then the twins show up again.
The diabetes crew.
Yes. Yeah, and I love the constant joke of them using like that rat to like wipe off the sweat. And and eventually they're just like, yeah, we're gonna leave Tatooine, and they leave.
You can kill the Wookiee. I really don't give a shit.
Yeah,
that was kind of like a draw. I thought it was just like, okay, fuck you guys.
Yeah, because you find out the twins are the ones that hire Chrysanthemum to go in and try to kill Boba Fett, and then they were just like, okay, yeah, what? Oh, he didn't do it? All right, never fucking mind. We're about to go off planet anyway because shit's going down.
Yeah.
And by
Keep
the
the
way,
Wookiee.
keep the Wookiee. And by the way, here's a Rancor just for the fuck of it.
And I couldn't think of better casting for a Rancor trainer.
Danny Trejo.
Under
only
Robert
Goddamn
Rodriguez,
machete.
too.
And I wish he had showed up in the last episode.
I know, right?
But
Which
he had-
actually, so we'll jump ahead a little bit on the last little bit. Is Danny Trejo mentioned, fuck if he has a name, I don't care. It's Danny Trejo. Mentions to Boba Fett, he's like, you can ride these things.
yeah.
And he's like, oh yeah, I know. He's like, do you have any interest? He's like, oh yeah. We never get to see that, yet the motherfucker comes riding in on one like goddamn King Kong at the end of the end of the series. So it's just like, I wish we had seen a little bit of like, because they were like building up this whole thing about how a Rancor is only loyal to the very first person it sees.
Yeah, it imprints.
It imprints hardcore. So it was like, they were like leading up this big thing to being like, they could have like this like, really cool, human and dog style relationship where it's like it's attacking fucking everything except him. We didn't get any of that.
No. But if you're going to introduce the Rancor at the beginning of the series, it better pay off at the end, which it does.
Chekhov's Rancor.
Yes.
And then they find out the mayor is absent when they go down to question what the hell's going on, and but they're chased down by his own major domo, who reveals that Shaz is working with the Pikes. So this basically everything is slowly connecting together. And then later on, you do find out the Pikes are arriving on Mos Espa, and Fett decides to prepare for war. And then the next episode, number 4, in the back to tank, Fett remembers trying to reclaim his fire spray gunship from Jabba's palace, in which was protected by too many guards, in which he discovers Shannik was dying from a gut wound. Yeah, that's what we were discussing earlier. He takes her to the mod guys and gets that all fixed up. This kind of felt like the low point of the episodes.
Yeah, I'm reading through it, not remembering what happens in this episode.
Yeah, not a whole lot actually happens. After fighting with the guards and retrieving Fett's ship, Shannon decides to stay with Fett, and they kill the biker. They killed the biker gang that. This is the one where he just went around fucking blowing shit up in his ship. He went over and he blew up the biker gang that killed the Tuskens, and then he flies over the fucking Jabba's palace wreckage and finds the fucking
Sarlacc pit?
Sarlacc pit. Yeah, thank you. I'm looking at you like, come on, goddammit,
I
help
told
me.
you I don't remember this episode.
Well, original trilogy. I'm just having a brain fart.
But like it's a callback to both trilogies, the prequel and the original, because you got Slave One destroying the Sarlacc pit.
Yep.
But he also kicks out one of them space grenades that he used against Obi-Wan.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it makes that boom, that like synth noise.
Yep.
And I always
and
loved
completely obliterates the damn thing.
And I love that shit because you see it in Attack of the Clones. And
Yeah.
It like just rips shit in half.
That is another thing about the series. They're not afraid to show love to the prequels.
Yeah.
I mean,
Especially when you're trying to show a little baby creature how his whole family was slaughtered.
And then, and then flying to trying to get his armor back from the Sarlacc, couldn't find anything. Fett emerges from the back to tank, fully healed again. I think that's the last time we got the flashbacks. Is when he finally gets out of that specific back to tank session. I don't think we go back to it again.
Goddamn, 4 episodes though.
Right. So that actually leads into something kind of interesting, which is the next episode, but we got a little bit left in this one.
Yeah, we get a little Wookiee action in this one.
Yes, in which basically we get drunk Wookiee in a bar.
It becomes like we were joking about earlier about how it becomes an Aaron Sorkin movie where Boba Fett goes to the Wookiee in the restaurant. He goes like, "You want to be a part of my crew?" And the Wookiee goes, "You son of a bitch, I'm in."
Yeah, but I also love how that one Trandoshan was just like, Chrysanthemum, you were the most feared Wookiee across so many galaxies and this, that, and the other, yada, yada, yada. I tell you what, you leave this poor guy alone and your bar tab is on us.
And he's like, "Go fuck yourself."
Yeah, and he's like looking at her, looks back at the dude, looks back at her, and then just like rips motherfucker's arms off.
He's just like, "Nah."
Well, I like that because it's like it finally pays off what we heard all the way from episode 1. You always let the Wookiee win.
Yeah.
Otherwise, he'll rip your arms out of your sockets.
Yeah.
So
I
it's
didn't
like
even
we
think about
finally
that.
got to see a Wookiee rip a motherfucker's arm off. So I enjoyed that. And then, Boba Fett sees that and he's like, "Yeah, you want to be part of my team?"
Pretty stacked crew.
Yep. And then basically he pulls everyone together and it's just like, "Yo, shit's going down." He like pulls all kind of like the mayors and important people
He
of all
pulls
the small
the gang heads.
I'm the godfather of Mos Espa, and I don't know what the fuck I'm doing.
essentially. And he's just like, "But shit's about to go down. I need you guys to at minimum stay neutral. I want you on my side, but at minimum please stay neutral. Just like stay the fuck out of this and let me handle it."
It reminds me of the scene in Godfather
Where he gets all the 5 families
the
together.
5 families are sitting around, and it was after he's been attacked.
Yeah.
That's why it really reminds me of that, because he's already been attacked and his son was killed, but Al Pacino hasn't quite taken over yet, but it's still the 5 families, and you could see like, look, we can work together on this, but we stay out of this one particular trade because it's going to bring us all down.
Yeah.
And the whole drug thing
was heroin.
Yeah, it was heroin.
Spice.
Yeah.
Spice.
That sweet shabu shabu.
But yeah, it's like you get a room full of scumbags to agree with each other,
and they're not going to.
They're not going to. Exactly.
And he tries to do the whole anti-Jabba thing. He's like, I could feed you all to a fucking Rancor.
Yeah, as soon as he says that, of course you hear and scraping at the bomb, which I thought that was a fucking awesome power move. It's just like, no.
But I'm not going to do that. I don't want to be that asshole.
Because he also was just saying, he's like, I want to rule with respect, not fear.
Yeah. He should have just went with fear.
So, man, I have the fear if you want it, but...
Yeah. See, Bronx Tale tells you that.
Never saw Bronx Tale.
Is it better to fear with love, or is it better to rule with love or fear? And the guy's like, "Oh, you could try to do both. It's really fucking hard, but I do it for fear."
It's just easier that way.
So exactly what you said. 4 episodes in, and we've gotten like so many flashbacks in a 7 episode series. So it's just like, okay, now we're just gonna really push forward. We're really just gonna like get to the meat of it now. We're really about to see some big time crime lord, big time battles. Well, Chapter 5, The Return of the Mandalorian.
Not so much.
And now look, I'm not shitting on this. This was a great side plot. Like, I loved it, but it
took up too much.
It did. Like, it was great, but it really deserved to be part of Mandalorian Season 3. Like, this would have been a fine way to kick off Season 3. And the thing is yes, even though it's really cool to see Mando, Din Djarin back for these even final episodes teaming up with Boba, we didn't need it. It wasn't going to be fully necessary for us to have.
It's all just exposition
for the next...
But
it was a
series.
setup for Season 3.
But it's also a setup for, okay, we're probably not going to see those other 2 Mandalorian for a while.
Yeah.
They're going to, they've kind of been like, look, you're not one of us anymore. The whole crux of the whole fucking thing was, you never taken off your helmet, which is a stupid fucking rule.
Yeah, because not even a whole lot even happens in this first episode.
Now, I will say the
him.
flashback to Mandalore and it's
getting destroyed.
It's the fucking T2 fucking beginning.
It really is.
And it's just like skulls getting crushed, and they're using those big ass, what are they called? Not IGs, but the droids from Rogue One.
Oh, I know.
The Empire,
yes.
the giant Empire droids.
Uh-huh.
And they're just boom, just dropping motherfuckers.
Oh, and yeah, and they're even like TIE bombers just flying over things, just boom, boom, boom.
We see him with Mando. We try to see him use the Darksaber in combat with.
He gets heavier
Yeah.
as he's fighting
because he's not worthy or whatever.
he's not with it, like he's not like he's not
all about
feeling
balance
it.
or whatever.
Yeah, he's not feeling it because he left a kid behind.
So yeah, so that's mainly the crux of this episode. It's a whole lot of really cool cinematography and exposition of essentially him hunting down, like you said, those other two Mandalorians, the Jon Favreau guy and then the welder girl.
Yeah.
And
The only
whole bunch of back and forth. They have a duel, and then he's like, here's the spear. I want little chainmail for Grogu if I get to see him again.
like we're in Lord of the Rings or some shit.
And then they're like, fight, and then he fucking like doesn't win, and they're like, do you take your helmet off? He's like, maybe.
You bastard!
So the highlight of this is he's out of the Mandalorians technically.
Yeah, because after he said, yeah, I kind of did, she was like, well, fuck you, that's not the way.
So he dips, and the highlight next to that is, I think, is the Starfighter.
Yeah, I agree with that.
It becomes like a fucking montage of rebuilding a new ship. Now I'm glad that it is that.
And again,
I am. There's only one other ship I would have been agreeable with. It would be like an old Jedi Starfighter.
Yeah.
Again, a little bit of love for the prequels with Naboo Starfighter instead of something from the old trilogy.
Yeah.
Because that was one of the few cool-looking ships they had in those prequel ones. So they were smart to grab it and then kind of modify it and kind of give it some tweaks and looks and stuff. But I thought that was cool. And again, it's not his story, but again, you do actually see a little bit of character growth in the Mandalorian or Mando or Din. Once he got three fucking names, just like fucking Baby Yoda does. It's kind of cool to see growth in his character coming from a guy that was like, yo, fuck droids, I don't want them anywhere near this ship, to him actually using droids and actually thanking one of them. Because he turned to one, he's like, where does this part go? And one kind of did the hologram to show him where it goes. He turned to him, he's like, thank you. And then puts it together. So it's like you even see a little bit of that growth of him finally starting to trust droids a little bit more until they say, take off all your armor. And he's just like, bitch, do you know how much I carry on me? You really want me to disrobe right here, right now?
We also get a lot of screen time with Amy Sedaris as the desert redneck that likes to date Jawas.
Yeah, furry. Yep, and then basically at the very end of it, Fennec Shand, the Djarin character, shows up. Fennec Shand comes up to ask Jar, and he's like, yo,
I'm putting a crew together.
You want to help out Boba? And he's like, nah, I'll do it for free.
Yeah.
And there's just like, oh, shit, yeah.
There's that cool scene, though, when they get that Starfighter up and running, and then in space, he goes up in space, just to test ride the motherfucker.
Oh, yeah,
and
gets stopped by the cops.
Yeah, and the two fucking X-Wings are right there. And that one guy's like, hey, you sound familiar. He's like, no, I fucking don't.
You don't know me.
You don't know me, son. And then he just like dips and he goes in hyperdrive, and they're like, hey, how the fuck did he do that? Because he didn't end the ring. Because if you watch the prequels, the Jedi Starfighters and the Naboo fighters and all this stuff all needed like this little ring that
It's
goes
kind of like a startup ring.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
a launch pad, so to speak.
yeah. And
yeah, they're like, how did he do that so fast?
this is a baller. The only thing that would have made it better if they made it like real shiny, like they did the Naboo ship from episode 1.
In little moments, it looked like it.
Yeah.
And it was also another callback to episode 1 when he was testing it on planet. He went through the same areas in which the pod race happened because they still had like the broken fence from I think Anakin or Sebulba's
all the
someone
canyon
died.
scenes and all that.
Or some poor fucker died.
Yeah,
Doing
basically.
Mach 4.
Yeah, there was still like the broken wreckage of that there because of course no one gives a fuck.
A family died.
So yeah, so he's just like, yeah, I'll totally fucking do it, but I gotta do a side mission first.
Side quest.
And then chapter 6 rolls around. We get the intro of Cobb Vanth, which we finally get to see him again. Which
Space Raylan.
Justified.
Yeah,
It's a Justified
for those,
episode.
for those who haven't watched Justified, watch it because Timothy Oliphant basically does the exact same character.
Yep. Me and Cap will do a podcast about that show.
Oh yeah, do a review series on it. We by the way, we need to get back into our Always Sunny review series.
You mean Fleetwood Mac?
Fleetwood Mac, I saw that too.
And
Sweet Stevie Nicks.
And he shows up. He sees some Pike Syndicate spice runners and basically runs them out, kicks over the spice, and it's just like, you motherfucker, you just got like the next county so high.
You don't find out if you snort it or you shoot it or
It doesn't matter. It's spice.
just spice. Just
Dude,
roll
like-
with it.
I've read Dune twice in my life, and just every time I see that as like a pull, I'm just like, just call it something else. If there's so much other shit you could call it. I know it's a vague
Spice
fucking
melange.
Yeah, the spice melange. Yeah, and like that's where he got Baron Harkonnen from. Like Jabba the Hutt is Baron Harkonnen, just a sluggish man who looks like a fucking monster.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just I'm a fan of both, but there's a lot more. I will say there's a lot more lore in the Star Wars universe just because of the expansive fans and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it's still like, you lazy piece of shit.
And then, he shoots up the Spice Runners, and we get the Book of Boba Fett. And it immediately transitions to Mando flying off because he's got to see Grogu and drop off the chainmail and this and the other. In which we get pretty cool. Well, first he meets R2, and R2's like, yeah, sure, I'll take you to him, whatever. And it just takes him up on this field with a whole bunch of other robots, and he's like, yo, where's Skywalker? And then motherfucker just shuts off, and he's like, hey, no, wait, stop, where's Skywalker?
He should have like pistol whipped it, like pow.
Which then we do get our scenes with Grogu and Luke, which I thought was really cool. There's two things I learned about it. One, there's a reason why the deep fake special effects on the face are better. Remember after season 2 wrapped up and everyone's kind of like, oh, the face didn't look too good.
I thought it looked good.
It looked okay.
Everybody's got a bitch about it though.
Well, there was a VFX artist on YouTube that
probably
did his
did
own
better.
that did better.
Yeah.
They fucking hired him. They were just like, all right, yeah, fine. You fucking knocked it out of the park. You've got a job. So that was his word. A fan. That just goes to show right there. If you've got talent, you're passionate about something, do it.
After they hired him, they should have hired the guy who did the titles.
Oh, God.
It's called The Phantom Menace. It's like, or this should have been called Attack of the Clones. And at the end of those little monologues, he's like, Disney, please hire me.
But no, I just thought that was like kind of a big dick move on Disney's part. They were like, okay, yeah, fine. You did do better. You got a job.
Yeah.
Now do it for 2 episodes, motherfucker.
But we got paid good to it.
Oh,
They're
yeah.
going to keep him on.
Oh, absolutely. But no, so yeah, that's one of the things. And then no one spoke any line for Skywalker's dialogue. Mm-hmm. What that was machine learning. Like all those robots that'll do like deep fakes where you can have them say stuff. Even the free versions are fucking good. When you've got Disney money and Disney technology, and then you get the master source files of like the Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi overdubs that they did in the studio,
Just blowing everybody's mind.
plus radio interviews and books on tape and all this other archival high quality stuff they have at their disposal from the archives. They run all that into machine learning, type in dialogue for Luke Skywalker, hit speak, and that's what we hear on the show.
Man, the future's awesome, ain't it?
Right?
And fucking terrifying.
Exactly.
I made the joke earlier saying we're not going to need actors here before too long.
We got the AI president, man.
Yeah.
He's going to solve it all.
Yep. And then, so basically he shows up, and then eventually Ahsoka wakes Jen up, and then he's just like, yo, take me to Grogu. And she's like, it's not a good idea. He's like, fucking take me to Grogu. And she's like, okay, fine. If you just like casually look to your right, you'll see them over there on a hill.
Learning the ways of the Force and basically doing the opposite Empire Strikes Back Jedi training scene.
Yeah. I do. I'm glad they didn't. He didn't go face to face with Luke Skywalker, because that would have been just awkward as fuck with just the helmet. But like he would know by that point the story of Mandalorian.
Yeah.
But like, he could, Jedi can kind of like sense certain things when it's familiar to them. He's like, oh, hey, you're Mando. Hey, nice to meet you.
Start staring him down.
Is Boba Fett alive? Like, I'm gonna cut him down. I got to. I fucking got to. No one who faces the Jedi should live. It's just like that's the real part of the Jedi people don't forget about. Like, everyone who's ever fought a Jedi is dead. Is fucking dead. And it's just like that bloodlust that's really in the back of the Jedi mind. That's why they can't love nothing, because they just kill a whole fucking village of Tusken Raiders.
That's where Luke's eye just kind of squints and goes, "Where is he?"
Yeah. That's why that going back to the first episode, that's what I wanted to see, him going in one of those fucking tents and getting fucking high as shit and kind of looking around like the art, like, because there's like the Navajo or the Lumpy Indians, and they got shit on the inside of the tent, and like them showing like some dude with a saber cutting them down. Like, whoa, long ago, might be like 25 years. This dude showed up and cut everyone down.
And then he gets flashbacks
Complaining about sand.
And then he gets flashbacks of Mace Windu and everything too.
But that would have been a great callback, just the slaughter of the Tuskens by some random dude with a lightsaber. Tell me that would have been compelling storytelling.
And then they talk about the gold god.
Yeah, the gold god in the indoor.
Yep, and then essentially he talks to Ahsoka and he's like, all right, fine, well then just give them this, and hands them the little package of chainmail that he made for him earlier.
The mithril.
So, yeah, the mithril. So I'm guessing it's safe to assume that planet's where Luke tries to cut down Kylo Ren.
That's what that's the one that where's the
it's definitely implied that those little spider droids are building that. Yeah, they're building the school that we see in the flashback of Last Jedi.
Yeah. That's if they were to go down this route again with the whole Luke Skywalker Jedi shit, probably with Ahsoka, I would like to see that continued on, at least with more young Jedi, just to see like, hey, are these a precursor to the Knights of Ren? Are they just like force sensitive? Are these just like, oh no, these aren't full Jedi, they're like the librarian Jedis? You know what I'm saying? Like, these are kind of like loser Jedis, or this one just knows karate. the Cobra Kai fucking Jedi school.
It's like, as we've seen with these
strike first, no mercy. And they're just lining droids up to be cut down. You gave it a scream, so when you cut it down, you could hear it.
Because in the Star Wars universe, droids feel pain. And we kind of get something that was a little unnecessary, but it does build the world a little bit more. Is we get no new information, but we see a flashback to Order 66 and Grogu's placement in that.
That seems like it was a cool, it was a cool flashback. He's like, it's like a porthole kind of look.
So we know he was there.
Yeah, he was there. And you're probably assuming it was there the day of, not like some additional day where they were still raiding the palace.
Yeah,
I just would have loved it if he was just like happened to be like walking toward class. And Anakin is just fucking daisy chaining these fucking kids' heads off. Like, and it's just like, and it's like, oh shit, and just.
Grogu just at 180.
He doesn't think the First Order does when Kylo Ren is doing his little bitch fit.
Yes.
And he's like, oh no, let's go.
Or the Grandpa Simpson meme of walks in the restaurant, takes the hat off, and immediately does the 180, puts the hat right back on, walks out the door.
When he's walking in the brothel.
And we'll see. So there's been some pretty interesting theories tying into that scene. So like you were saying, it kind of looked like a portal. Well, every time it clips back to Grogu, if you look around him, you can't see anything around him. It kind of looks like he's hidden.
Yeah.
And he's kind of seeing it through enough of a portal, or like a little slit, to see what's going on. Even the first, not the Order 66 troopers, what are they called? The clone troopers don't even say, go get him. All they say is move, go.
We got to clear the palace.
Exactly, like we've got more area to cover. Let's move.
And I'm surprised Disney did that with like showing that, because they are a little bit skimp sometimes, and they try not to do it like episode after fucking episode after fucking episode. They try not to do it, even though this is about a criminal man who kills people.
Well, so they've got some pretty interesting theories going on, since you can't really see around Grogu. And the shot that was being shown, the clone troopers really weren't set in on grab the kid.
Yeah.
If you go back to episode 3, R2 is already in a ship losing his mind.
Yeah.
It's theorized that he has Grogu inside him, because you know how things have kind of gotten in, that he's let Grogu inside the container. That's what he's seeing through the little slit that his little arm pops out of all the time.
Yeah.
And that's what, because if someone pulled a clip up of it, he's already losing his shit, and 3PO's like, hey, calm down, slow down. What? And of course he's talking about, motherfuckers are slicing people down. We got to get off planet. But at the same time, that's a very easy retcon of like, yo, they're slicing motherfuckers down, and I've got like something inside me. We need to go.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. Because you even notice at the end of season 2, when R2 sees Grogu, he starts doing that little side, almost like that happy dog kind of thing that you see him do sometimes. Almost as if, yo, I remember you. You made it? Yeah. Fuck yeah, you've gotten it this far. Hell yeah, dude. And it was almost kind of like that response. So I wonder if they're going to kind of pull that weird retcon, because you didn't see it, that means we can fill in the gaps kind of storyline of R2 fucking grabs Grogu, and that's the reason he saved Order 60 or survived Order 66. I think it'd be interesting at least.
Yeah, we'll find out. One character we kind of overlooked in this episode is
Cad Bane.
Cad Bane,
yep, he shows up right at the end, and people are kind of shitting on this design.
I'm not. I like it.
I like it too.
Everyone here at the table dug it. Reddit did not.
Reddit doesn't like a lot of things.
Reddit did not like this series.
The creative geniuses of Reddit.
Yes.
Yeah.
The people who make porn with color pencils.
And so Cad and
Raylan. Darth Raylan.
Yes.
They have a nice little showdown. It was very classic Western.
Oh, dude, it's almost like a shot for High Noon.
It really is, because he's
you
even
see
dressed like fucking Clint Eastwood.
Well, no, they do the walk-in, and that's from Once Upon a Time in the West, where it's the flat surface of the desert. He's walking toward the town, and then it turns into High Noon when it's just like they're talking back and forth. Because did you ever see High Noon?
Long time ago.
Well, there's a conversation right before he has to put the guy down,
right?
Because he's back because it's his fault.
There's a lot of they pull from a lot of movies in these last 2 episodes.
But yeah, we were watching. They were just doing the whole fucking Western thing. Like,
Yeah. A lot of good and the bad and the ugly in it.
Yeah. All that shit. And then like the conversation, like you can see kind of the viciousness in his face.
Because this is right after Boba Fett was just like, yo, I need some help. No, Mando was just like, yo, I really need some help.
Can you do me a solid?
Yeah. And he's like, yeah, I guess I'll try.
I wanted to see what Mando was going to do to that fucking like deputy.
Yeah.
He's like, hey, motherfucker, you're supposed to park over here. He's like, I'm not here to see you, you piece of shit.
Yeah. Well, instead, the ultimate end up with that guy is he just got shut the fuck up by motherfucking Cad Bane.
Yeah, Cad Bane. I like he did it right. He popped old boy in the shoulder first because that's the main guy.
Yeah.
All right, he's the one that can put you down. Yep. Raylan can put you down.
He can and will if you let him.
Cobb Vanth.
Cobb Vanth has got ice cold water running through the veins. Okay?
Yes. But it's implied that he's been shot to death.
Yeah, but it was smart for him to shoot him first.
Yeah.
Because the deputy's not a threat. He's too slow. Mm-hmm. But god damn, he pops old boy and then just unloads on that fucking deputy. He's like, that's for talking shit.
Yeah, pretty much.
And I'm just like, god damn, dude, just fucking rolling. I'm just like,
like he's got a fucking revolver.
Yeah, if he was going to do that, that would have been fucking cool.
Yeah.
But I thought the character design was cool. His voice was good. Yeah, he was the son of a bitch.
He was asking for it.
He was fucking asking.
You can't park that here.
All right, deputy.
Yeah.
Fucking deputy Fife rolling up on me like that.
But we're talking about the makeup on Cad Bane, about how it looks like the mouth was real with prosthetic teeth.
Well, yeah, I'm very curious because they always do a making of documentary like a couple weeks after these episodes air. So we'll see it eventually, but I'm very curious to see how much of that was CGI and how much of that was practical. Because looking at the mouth, like you could almost see like where the blue makeup ended and like natural lip like chapped lip kind of curvature that's like very hard to mimic.
His design is great, and it's also got a very classic original Star Wars look with the gauntlets. The gauntlets are very primary colored,
the tube kind of thing,
and it's very simple. It's very like late 70s. Hey, let's throw something together that looks kind of spacey. Even the gauntlets are actually used from another series. Space Command or some shit. I forget what it was, but it's a lot of primary colors that show better on screen because if you look at them, they're bright blue, white, red buttons, and like just shiny as fuck compared to that fucking duster he's wearing.
Overall, even not just his character, but overall the set designs and everything in both Mandalorian and Book of Boba Fett have been outstanding. There's not been too many things maybe outside of your speeder bikes that really kind of stand out as like that doesn't work. Everything fits. It doesn't seem like a jarring thing like the prequels did.
They keep the settings the same.
Yeah.
And that's hard to do, especially with Star Wars, because they're always jumping from all right, desert planet, snow planet, forest planet, one that has salt for some fucking reason.
Yeah.
With this series, it's been mostly desert planets. So
Then we end the episode with CGI Luke telling Grogu basically look here, bitch. You've not been focusing this entire time. You're strong as shit. I know your potential, but you technically have a choice to make. Do you want the cool Viking chainmail, or do you want the laser sword that can kill a bunch of people?
Knife. Laser knife.
Yes. Yeah, well, for his size, yes. Laser pocket knife. Yeah. And then, of course, we're left on that cliffhanger. And you were saying, well, we all know what he's going to pick, Chris.
Yeah.
Were you thinking that he was going to wind up picking which we immediately find out within 5 minutes of the next episode? In the final episode, he picks the Mandalorian creed because R2 flies his ass back. It's almost like Luke just went, all right, I have no use for you then. R2, take him back.
Yeah.
And it goes.
Did you think that was the direction they were going to go with it?
Yeah, I kind of felt, because storytelling wise, you don't want him to be a Jedi because he'll get cut down.
Yeah,
because that's the end of it.
Yeah,
he would be cut down. Because Disney or whoever the fuck could not at any point foreshadow the fact that, hey, there's some more Jedi just walking around.
Yeah,
who actually know what the fuck they are. Not like at the end of Last Jedi where that one kid, he's sweeping. He doesn't know what he is.
Yeah, he's literally using the Force to grab something that's like a foot out of his reach.
Yeah. So, but Grogu knows what he can be. He knows. And so you don't want him to go down that path because it's not foreshadowed in the past movies, so it wouldn't make fucking sense. And he doesn't speak anyway. And
honestly, my biggest problem, because basically the final episode is just a big old knockout, drag out fight. There's really not much to talk about until the very end.
Butch and Sundance meets fucking King Kong.
Yeah. So there's not much to talk about until the very end. So I'd like to take a second on this and just say, this is where I have the problem with the series. I'm fine. I knew Grogu was eventually going to go back to Mando because they would have to. I hate it happened so soon. Mm-hmm. Because the thing is in season 2, that very last shot of Luke turning around, holding Grogu as he's about to go down the elevator, and they're constantly doing the little back and forth between Jin and and then eventually the final scene is just that it closes and then black screen and then end of series. There's so much that could be built up from that it almost feels like he deserves to be gone for at least half of season 3, and then halfway through season 3 is when we get that crisis of consciousness thing that we saw in Book of Boba Fett. Is when he goes and seeks her out, and she's like, "You're not a Mandalorian anymore. You're not part of the creed. Well, will you make this for the kid? Fine." And then sees that, and then we get a quick little side thing of, oh shit, now he's got to go. Well, technically, and that's why I was saying earlier, he didn't even need to be part of the final battle. He really didn't, aside from it being a cool team up. But it's for the fact that Grogu got sent there too, that was the moment I was just God damn it. It's this now feels like someone's just in a bad way grabbing the toy box and just dumping it all on the living room floor and saying, all these characters are going to play together. Yeah. And like I said,
which is what happens.
Sometimes it works, but this time it just felt like it didn't.
I see the part up to Grogu showing up.
Yeah.
I would get rid of that.
I agree.
Maybe show him afterward.
Yeah.
Or maybe showing up when the Rancor is just running wild. And just that, not like, hey, let's catch the football.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Because
Like,
essentially everything leading up to this point has been bang, bang, bang. The whole city turned on each other. You know, we got different factions beating up other people, and now we're saving other people. The big old Wookiees barely getting, attacked, and this, that, and the other. And eventually shit doesn't start changing until Boba Fett acts like he's about to go grab his spaceship and start blowing motherfuckers away, which would have been a really cool scene, but that's a what if. Instead, he comes riding on the back of a Rancor.
but I think Mando being there is needed.
Okay.
I think it's the crux of, hey, you're doing me a favor. We need to bring you back because Boba Fett doesn't have any friends.
Yeah.
He's not going to beat him with a Wookiee and a bunch of crust punks on Vespas. Okay, like that's not going to happen.
Yeah.
So he needs
The help of Freetown.
Well, not just Freetown, but he needs the other Mandalorian. He needs an actual Mandalorian to
Somebody
show up.
he can, actually count on.
Yeah,
Because Fennec Shaw's out fucking offing the gang members.
Yeah, she's helping the punks
And the crust punks, yeah.
but you need, and I will say the setup on that was perfect.
Yeah.
Hey, something is going on right here. We might need your help. And you kind of forget about the gang leaders for a minute, and it's like, oh fuck, that's why he hasn't heard from him, so he doesn't know. But they made a back alley deal with the Pikes, and they're going to off parts of his gang single-handed instead of trying to do one giant siege, which would have been stupid. And I do like that you see the different types of species going after every single one. Now he does lose the 2 guards.
Yep,
that was a success.
Never gets mentioned again.
Yeah, but that's a success on their part. But the Wookiee trying to get taken down, you're assuming he gets taken down because that's the way they do it in movies. If you remember, like The Godfather, Sonny Corleone lit the fuck up, done. He's fucking dead. He got shot 500 fucking times.
Exactly.
So he's done. All right. Fredo's just gone. You don't even remember where Fredo went.
Yeah,
and Al Pacino
off screen.
and then Al Pacino's character, he shows up. He actually does what needs to be done. They do it the same way in this movie or this show. It was like, hey, we were able to pull it out. Old boy got lit the fuck up. They're dead. The 2 guards. They would be the Sonny Corleone.
Fell off a fucking cliff.
But Fennec showing up in '86 in those people. That's the
very end. That's
the Pacino.
The church.
Yeah. That's the oh, you fucking hit my sister. But it's the breaking up of the gang because you can kill them one by one.
Yeah,
and that's a great mafia style of telling the story because it's still a Western, but it's got that mafia influence of, hey, how are these done? Well, in Goodfellas, how'd they kill people? One-on-one.
Yeah.
Or Brock's Tale or anything mafia related. It's always, we got to split them up to kill them.
Yep.
Westerns, you have the giant shootouts, the 2 guys, like Butch and Sundance, the 2 guys versus the gang, which I thought was great for Mandalorian and Boba Fett.
I did too.
But with that mafia aspect put into it, because you still, granted, Boba Fett's kind of a pussy, but he still has a gang that he's got to take care of, and you kind of feel for that because they're getting fucked up. Because I think there's only like 3 left.
There was 3 or 4
left.
So there's only like 2 or 3 of the
that one dude looks like he played in Huey Lewis in the News. That's why I kept saying that. I'm just like, holy shit, that's Huey Lewis. But
yeah, so Boba Fett rolls on in with the Rancors. I thought all of that was badass, seeing a Rancor actually use the strength, and it's a baby Rancor. Yeah. So it's like it's going to get stronger and more fiercer than that.
What do you think of the just the Boba Fett Mando just shootout?
Oh, I thought that was cool. It was like 2 action figures.
Because he says, I knew he was going to do it. He's going to do that. Boba Fett says, eat a pile of dicks. And like, then you get the, oh fuck, they're in the air, because they never use that almost, because I imagine it's an expensive effect to do.
Yeah.
But like,
you're like, holy shit,
death from above. They're flying. We did watch Skywalker. It's like, oh shit, they fly now.
They fly now.
Yeah, but it was a good callback.
Yep.
And you get to see him use the missile. It doesn't do anything, but he's get it.
Yep.
But you get these giant fucking like T2 fucking T1000s.
I know.
and
with
what
Droideka powers and
Yeah,
shit.
the Droidekas. Yeah,
And the nerd minutia on that is that was actually originally concept art for the battle droids we got in episode 1 that also had the little bubbles around them.
Yeah.
That was the original concept art. They
These
just
giant
grabbed it and kind of modified it a little bit and
but
just
like
kind
with
of
the
used
red
that.
eye, it looks like
Hal.
But yeah, Hal. But it looks
Yeah.
like the drone, the track drone with the 2 guns from Terminator 3.
Okay,
which
yeah,
was a
yeah.
concept from the original Terminator. Was these things roll up with 2 turrets and it's got an eye in the middle and it goes doo, 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 doo. And I'm just like, that's fucking some Terminator shit right there. And it does look cool with the force fields and everything, because you got to remember the Pike, the Pike gang
Yeah.
or whatever. They have a lot of money, so they can afford 2 of these fucking things.
Yeah. So the Rancor and everyone else is eventually take those motherfuckers out, and then Cad shows up, which then scares the Rancor away with fire.
Right. That was the
That felt
Rancor's
like
one
the
weakness.
easiest. That felt like the most plot armored thing ever. I was like, oh yeah,
But
that's how you got
it's
that
also
away.
like not just that, but he's standing his ground. It's kind of like when you get like a bear charging at you, and you try to plant your footing. Especially like if it's a black bear, like a smaller bear, like they're gonna paw at you, but from a distance.
Yeah.
But if you stand your ground, or like a mountain lion or something like that, if you stand and move forward or make yourself bigger, it scares the fucking thing.
Yeah.
Because it's still just a confidence issue after
Right.
that, and him just going bam, like with the fireball, and the Rancor's like, oh fuck this, because he hasn't been shot at really, like he's just running around. No one's riding him.
No, it's just a wild beast.
So then we get the final showdown between Boba and Cad, which I thought was really cool because they threw some dialogue in there that referenced the unaired Clone Wars episode where the 2 of them had a shootout, and that's how we got the dent in the helmet. Yeah. So it's like, they had references to that and how Boba and Cad actually kind of worked together, and Cad was a little bit of like a trainer to him.
Yeah, because I would love a callback to like, especially so when he's talking to the main Pike leader.
Yeah.
That's Phil Lamar.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, from Matt TV and King of the Hill. I would have loved it if he was just casually talking to him and he mentions the Tusken Raider authority, but he's like working on his hand or something.
Yeah.
Because he has no hands. Because they were accidentally cut off in a slapstick comic event, which is hilarious. It's like, if you get to see it, he's going to kill Obi-Wan Kenobi because that's his job.
Yeah.
And he can't do nothing. Obi-Wan Kenobi's like dead, like just one shot away. And an elevator door just opens up and it's Ahsoka and Anakin just bitching and moaning. And he kind of just does this whole like, hey, what are you talking about? And he just like bumps into Kate Bane and like slaps his, like, oh shit, zat out. And like cuts his fucking arms off. Like, and it's the whole, and it's
dude.
and like,
bro.
it's the big Kenobi. It's like, where the fuck have you been? Because it's still the whole Ben Anakin thing.
Yeah.
It's like, you piece of shit. I told you not to walk away. But it's just like this slapstick, like, oh shit, just
Random. Oh,
oh my god, it is hilarious because when they put him back in, I was really excited because I was like, oh, I thought he was just dead. I thought they killed that motherfucker by accident, which would have been a funnier story.
yeah.
But yeah, so awesome showdown, and it's like, and they hold true to it because Cad's supposed to be the fastest hand in the galaxy, like faster than Han, anyone. Like Han is a really good smuggler and he's a really good marksman, but he wasn't
He'll
necessarily
shoot you first.
Yeah, he'll
shoot you
shoot.
first.
He'll shoot you first, but not necessarily the fastest.
No.
There's a very big distinction. But Cad is the fastest hand in the galaxy. So for him catching all those shots on Boba, I thought was a really cool thing. Of like they kind of held into.
I wish they hadn't killed him.
Me too.
Well, so we'll lead up. So right before that, the way that Boba winds up getting the upper hand was his Tusken's training.
Yeah.
Which Cad was not expecting. He's used to Jedi and marksmen. He's not used to someone that's good at martial arts.
Yeah.
So that was also another really cool, interesting side point, being like, oh shit, he doesn't know how to work with this.
Well, he's not expecting that either from like just from the history of Boba Fett.
Yeah.
He's pulling what looks like a short shotgun, maybe a pistol, and he's going to fly in the air.
Yeah.
But if he's on his back on the ground like a turtle, like he's got no weapons.
Yep.
You got to remember that the guns got kicked away, so he's done in Cade's eyes. Because just the history of watching it. And if you were going into this without seeing the first few episodes, you're like, oh yeah, he's fucked.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're gonna put one right between his eyes.
Yeah, but for the fact that he used that gaffy stick and just won, I thought that was awesome. So yeah, I say they allude to Cad being dead. But here's the thing.
We got stabbed like a motherfucker.
If you watch the episode, he gets stabbed kind of heart chest area.
Yeah.
But as they're doing the slow zoom out, there's a thing beeping on his chest.
Yeah.
I swear that's a beacon or something calling someone, giving him his their location
It could
for
be.
him to get picked up, back to tanked, and right back. Because come on, they had back to spray in the other shows and movies, so it's like back to is like the
Senzu
cure.
beans.
That's like the cure all for everything.
The health MacGuffin.
Yes.
Yeah, it's the health MacGuffin.
They have
He's-
universal health care.
which actually perfectly ties into the very end. Grogu calms the Rancor, you know. Then you kind of get like the big elephant and the mouse scene of them kind of chilling.
Well, it kind of
and
reminds me
relaxing.
of the mud. What is it? The
Mudhorn scene.
Mudhorn, and I thought that was very cool.
It was a very good callback. And then after that, Boba and Fennec are just walking down the streets, and they're getting fruits, another very Godfatherish type thing.
Yeah, everybody's like, and he's bitching the whole time. He's like, because he broke his right arm.
Yeah.
so he
Yeah.
probably broke a whole fucking rotator cuff, and he's just like, I can't keep. Being
Getting
like,
too old
being
for
like,
this
you're
shit."
welcome, motherfucker. I get it. I would have just been like,
Peace. And then, yep. And then you kind of find out that the punk crew is going to kind of work for him along with Chrysanthemum and one of the little droid things that we saw earlier in the series.
Still there.
So they kind of pulled together a little ragtag
And,
of like, this is going to be my new
and what's
team.
her name? The mechanic. She
Amy
made it.
Sedaris, yeah.
Yeah,
Amy
she
Sedaris,
made
she's
it.
going to whore out that one fella because she saved him.
The Twilight Kid, yeah.
because he owes her. It's a
tailhead,
life
yes.
debt. It's a life debt.
And then post-credit scene, we get the little tease of Fennec saying to him, he's like, well, why don't you get in the back to tank to help your army? He's like, it's being used right now, which you think is being used for Chrysanthemum, because he said earlier, he's like, thanks for hanging
I
in
owe
there
you
for
one.
me, buddy. I owe you like a nice long soak in that tank
But I'm
after
going
this
to
is
buy
all
you your
done.
own because that's got fucking costly maintenance for all the hair in that son of a bitch.
So you think it's being used for
When he
that, but
rolled
then
up-
you see him at the end.
When he rolls up at the end, I kind of just like half-ass looked. I'm like, is he wet? Like he's just covered in liquid?
Exactly.
Right.
So it's like you don't see it, but then you find out post-credit scene that Cobb Vanth,
Braylon.
thank you. Yes, I was waiting. Is in there, and you see one of the mod guys
SoundCloud rapper one.
Yeah,
Yeah, SoundCloud.
getting ready to do him up. So that's kind of like the little end stinger. So Cobb is alive, and that's why I also say I think that Cad Bane is alive, because if he just gets stabbed in the chest and we don't see any like sort of final death thing, no one's truly dead in Star Wars. We saw a motherfucker got chopped in half and sent down a damn shaft, like we talked about in our
And you also saw a guy get like stomach stabbed, and he died.
by a lightsaber.
Or somebody
He got cut in half by a lightsaber. What the fuck? Like the physics of this stupid fucking show.
Emperor Palpatine fell inside a fucking Death Star. And
He
then
said he fell into a furnace.
yes.
A fucking furnace.
How did Emperor Palpatine come back? He just came back.
Yeah, that's even what the movie says.
The
Somehow he's back.
Yes.
Yeah. But you can listen to all that.
Last week's episode.
On the watch along.
Yes. But no, I'm kind of torn with the series. I'm a 50-50. For the nerd popcorn, I want to turn my brain off and enjoy Star Wars aspect. It did better than the sequels.
So compare.
Yeah, I agree with that.
So it's like for the turn the brain off, enjoy seeing all the action figures flying in the air, and they said the line, and there's the big blow up. It was great. If I'm looking at it from a purely storytelling, how did it do building into the narrative of everything else? Not that great.
What would you? Because we did past podcasts on Marvel shows and everything. So comparative for these, like let's see these 3 seasons, Mando 1 and 2 and Boba Fett, compared to the quality of Marvel, where would you like? Do you think the quality and production is better for the Star Wars element, just because it is a lot of set building, it is a lot of new stuff, a lot of location scouting and stuff like that, as compared to, like, let's say WandaVision, which is a 10-pop town, or Hawkeye, which is just like 4 city blocks.
Well, here's the interesting thing. If we're comparing Marvel to Star Wars, real quick,
I'm just like in your general and just general quality.
Exactly. Well, I think this all ties into it. We got a string of really bad Star Wars right in a row, with like a couple little gems here and along in the way. But we got like the 3 movies that we've kind of in retrospect kind of looked at and went, now that the hype's kind of died down, these really weren't that great kind of thing, especially the very last one. Even the side movies, in my opinion, weren't that great aside from Rogue One. So then all of a sudden we got no Star Wars for the longest time. And then they did good with Mandalorian. Then they did good with season 2, and now they did okay with Book of Boba Fett. Whereas with Marvel, they had kind of been on a fast track of good, and we've gotten a lot more Marvel properties since I kind of use Rise of Skywalker and Endgame as kind of like the marking points, because both of them kind of came out roughly around the same time period. So I kind of use those two as markers of like the end of a certain era into the Disney Plus era. Disney Plus era, all we've gotten is 2 series and then an animated series, Bad Batch. But that's all we've gotten. But we've gotten so much more Marvel content that it almost feels more excusable if some of the Marvel stuff doesn't fully hit. Because in a couple months we're going to have something else that might be a little better. Star Wars, where it's like a 1 series a year kind of thing.
And
so maybe we're a little bit more critical because of that, because we don't get as much. Whereas like if you didn't like Hawkeye, well, you can just wait a couple weeks and a couple months, and then we're going to get you a new Marvel thing, and we'll see if you like that better. Well, if you didn't like Book of Boba Fett, well, tough titties, you got to wait till next year for Kenobi series.
I forgot about the Kenobi series, because one thing I was going to bring up was that with Grogu and Mandalorian's narrative, it does not make me excited for a new season, or at least...
No, because I wanted to see them apart a little longer.
Yeah.
I think that would have been good for the narrative.
I think that's a lot of. I think a lot of that is majority rule on fandom.
Yeah,
they probably just want it back. And plus, Disney's making buku money on that fucking
follow the money,
that toy shit.
Oh yeah, there's gonna be a lot of little Boba Fett action figures being sold after this too.
Lego probably raking it in too.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, overall, what'd you guys think?
It's like a
5 out of 7.
Yeah. 5 out of 7.
Yeah, kind of like a B minus.
If you're a big internet person, you understand what I'm saying.
I just figured it was for 7 episodes.
No, 5 out of 7.
Okay.
Overall, 5 out of 7.
Okay.
But I just...
There's a lot of fun elements to it, but yeah, there's a lot of stuff that I could have done without too.
Still not as bad as Falcon and Winter Soldier.
That had a message. But from a Nazi. So, but, Cap would probably get it. It's just like the weird callback from Justified kind of throws you out of it.
I know it does take that character take me out of the series.
It does
anytime he pops up though.
But I am happy that they do. Granted, George Lucas isn't doing this anymore, but whoever's doing it is doing some George Lucas shit, which is pulling a lot from active properties.
A lot of
like
properties.
The Marshall part, it's like, okay, I'll give you that, but like...
Well, we talked about how like all these episodes have callbacks to The Godfather, Bush and Sundance, Good, Bad, and the Ugly, King Kong.
Yeah.
Just a lot, just a soup.
I am happy, they're bringing back some older stuff, gives it like a nostalgia feel, but too much of it it can ruin it.
I think they walked the line on this one pretty well.
Yeah, this one's better. This one's a lot better.
It's not as bad as, say, Force Awakens, where it's like, hey, remember all of this? And this is what's going to drive this fucking movie?
Long camera holds on certain things.
Stupid swipes and shit like that. Yeah. Terrible music. Fuck you, John Williams.
All right, that's enough out of you.
It could be worse. We could get Danny fucking Elfman.
Yeah.
God damn.
I'd say this has been a pretty solid episode of The Couch Brotatoes. So I've been Alex.
This is Cap.
And Chris,
Morrison.
do you have any sort of final thoughts for us?
I can't wait for them to ruin another Star Wars thing.
It always happens.
I really don't. I just hope Ray Park finally gets his fucking hand in, and I really hope they do a callback.
That's all that's left of them.
Yeah. But I want them to bring back Ray Park, and I want them to bring back the whole Solo narrative, because they left that off in that movie, and people just shat on it because there was like 7 directors and like 40 color palettes.
Well, who knows? Maybe we'll get it in Kenobi.
Maybe.
I'm excited about Kenobi.
I wanted to bring Maz in, the little alien that we got from Force Awakens. I want to show her. Give me a backstory.
Yeah.
Why the fuck does she have a giant, Boba Fett flag just chilling on her fucking property?
Good question.